Today I'm doing a quick test to find out how much different filters destroy your image. I've done some of these in the past, but here I'm testing it with a whole bunch of different ones. So what I'm doing is I've got this great view over Edinburgh, shooting over to the Edinburgh Castle over there, and I'm shooting with my sharpest lens at roughly its sharpest. So here I've got it at my Nikon 70 to 200mm f2.8, pointing straight towards there. Got it at 70 mils, and we're shooting at f5.6. Just now, if I take a photo, I've got it in manual setting at 400th of a second, f5.6, ISO 200. This should be pretty much the sharpest image I'm going to get from this lens shooting at the castle. So we use this as our benchmark shot, and there it is, nice and lovely. We'll look at these more closely on the computer when we get in. Now, that's it with the lens hood on and all that extra jazz. So keeping it in the same position, first thing I'm going to do is I've actually got a whole bunch of filters here. First one is the Hoya Pro digital 77mm, so that's the size of the actual hole. And let's see what this UV filter does to the image. Next one we've got is the Hoya Pro digital multi-coated polarizing filter, circular polarizing filter. So just going to get that on. A polarizer usually takes a little bit of light out, so we'll just get that on nice and tight and take the same photo. Now I'm going to add both of those, both the circular polarizer and the UV filter together. Let's see what happens there. Now what I've done is I've added the Koken neutral density graduated filter to the front of the lens. I've got it a little bit high up so that it's not taking up too much of the brightness out of the image. And we'll just put the one that we've put on so far is the darkest one, the ND8. Okay, let's see how much that destroys it. Now I'm going to add on the second ND filter, which is the ND4, on top of this as well. Now ND filters are pretty famous for giving a strong magenta cast to the sky. So see how, you might not notice that in this image though, but it certainly is darker even though we've got it pretty high up. Now as a benchmark of what is potentially the worst image, I'm going to add all these filters together. So I'm sure you probably agree this looks a little bit ridiculous, having two ND filters, a circular polarizer, and just a UV filter, and it is ridiculous. And you would never use this, but this should show you just how much it destroys. And also what I should say is these are all pretty dirty. They're not clean, they're not brand new. These are all used filters. So let's get these guys on. Okay, so that's them all on. Let's see, it certainly looks like a dark image, and it looks a little bit ridiculous having all those on, but this will give you a good benchmark and a good understanding of how much all these filters individually and together can destroy your image. And also the fact is it's so dark now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the setting to aperture mode so that it will adjust the shutter speed so it should be the correct exposure. Take another photo there and see how the image looks at the same, what should be roughly the correct exposure setting. And it's saying it should be 125th of a second. And a little bit brighter there. Yeah, not bad. Okay, here we are back in the office, and we're going to be looking at the actual image files themselves. I'm looking at these on a 27-inch iMac screen, so nice big resolution. Remember, these are 12 megapixel images. And so we're just going to go through them, and gotta say, I think I've got to kind of retract my statement already. So first of all, I've just synced all the photos so that they've got exactly the same stuff. So the sharpening is just what naturally comes in with Lightroom. These are all the raw files. I've converted them to DNG files so that if you can have a look at them as well. And I'm going to put them into a Dropbox folder, which I'll put in the link below. But effectively, nothing is changed at all. The only thing that is going to be the camera calibration, putting that to landscape, because this was a landscape shot. Okay, so the first image was one which we took with no filters on whatsoever, and it's a nice, well-exposed image. You can see the histogram up at the top right there, nothing kind of blown out, maybe a tiny little thing there, and nothing in the black. So pretty much well exposed. If we zoom in 1:1, takes a little while for the computer to really kind of get sharpness, but yeah, very, very nice and sharp. This is a very good lens, and you can see the full kind of British flag hanging from the castle. So that is Edinburgh Castle there. So yeah, in general, very good. Now, the first lens or the first filter we put on was the UV filter. The camera moved a little bit, so I'm having to guess here, but straight off the bat, there's nothing I can see which is showing that the image has been degraded in any way. In fact, like if you look at the little people down here, they're perfectly viewable. If we change it back to the previous one, wait for the computer to resolve it, just as sharp as the other one. Now the next one, oh look at this. Oh, this is with the circular polarizer on it, and my goodness, that has sucked out so much light. That is unbelievable. It is so dark. If you look at the histogram from there to where it was before, huge difference. So there's no doubt about it, a circular polarizer just takes so much light out of it. But how much sharpness was decreased? So what I'll do is I'll just quickly increase the exposure just so we've got it roughly the same. So for me, I'm going to bring it up 1 2/3 of a stop in Lightroom, and again this was a shot at ISO 200, so there's no noise apparent whatsoever. As you can see, those are pretty darn similar exposures now. In fact, maybe I could take up to 1.8, but in terms of sharpness, difficult to see a drop in sharpness at all. Okay, like all the little people down there and the flag fully visible. Okay, the next one should be total cache. This one it was with the circular polarizer and the UV filter on it. And again, very dark. So I'm going to bring this one up by 1.8. So as I'm sure you'll agree, that's pretty much the same exposure as this other one. So if you're taking out the factor of, oh, it's taking out light, normally I'd be thinking this should be really bad. You should never double filter, double bag your lens with 2 filters here. And a circular polarizer's got 2 bits of glass in it already. And this is looking pretty sharp. Okay, so next up we've got the Koken ND grad filter. So this is, we had it pretty high up, so only the very tips, and you can see there's a little bit of vignetting going on. I think that's more from the actual filter itself going on in the corners. But so looking through one piece of, this is plastic as well. Damn, it looks pretty sorted. If we go down to the little people in the corner, looks absolutely fine. Okay, right, let's go to the next image. This is through 2 pieces of plastic. Now that's looking rubbish, but it's not finished loading. Now it's finished loading. And at 1:1 on a full 27-inch iMac, that's still looking very good. Okay, so interesting. Right, last image here. So this is with all the filters on. The ND, 2 ND graduated filters, a circular polarizer and a UV filter. And this is sucking out so much light. It's such a dark image. Still, same settings, 4/100th of a second, f5.6. So if I was to edit this in Adobe Lightroom, I'm going to bring this up 2.1 exposure compensation in Adobe Lightroom. And I would say, apart from the sky, because the sky is obviously dark where the ND filter is, because again, remember we're looking through filters here. So that's quite a lot of exposure that we're having to add back in. So this should be total mush. This should, like, to the point where I can see the letterboxes on these doors very clearly. Just check it, I haven't added any sharpening, these are the raw files. Yeah, absolutely nothing's been added. And that is what it's like with 4 filters, 2 of which are plastic. Oh. There you go. What I did on the next image, this one here, so the exposure, that was 1/80th of a second. The one which I did a video of was 125. And so what we're seeing here is strong vignetting in the corners. Yeah, that's definitely, but I think that's just from the amount of extra barrel that we've added on to the actual lens. And so we're going down to 125th of a second. So yeah, that's more than a stop, almost 2 stops. Maybe it is a little bit darker, but let's just go from image number 1 to final image. So what I've done is I've tried to get it so that the exposure looks about right. So I've brought this up by 0.75 of an exposure. And if we go from no filters, look at the sky, but we're not looking at that, we're looking at the sharpness. And yeah, okay, let's go zoom right into the castle. I can make out individual bricks, and with the previous image, I could make out individual bricks. So yeah, I guess the kind of chat I was giving during that video whenever I was making the photos, I was a little bit wrong with. But again, have a feel, have a play around with these images yourself. I'll put them down in the drop box below, but just in general, it's like, wow, that's four filters in front of a lens, and the center of the image is not affected in any way whatsoever, apart from the amount of light it's able to get in. Wow.